What's going on, DJBooth.net? This is DJ Blaze, and I'm here in the lab to give you guys a full video review of the new Audio-Technica AT-LP120-USB direct drive professional DJ turntable. Alright, here it is, everybody. This is the Audio-Technica AT-LP120-USB. I know it looks a lot like a 1200 SL, but no, it is not. It's an Audio-Technica, and we have one here in the lab, and this is the full video review. So we'll just break it down from the setup to the first impressions, or the overall impressions. We've been using this for a couple days now, and overall impressions are surprisingly good. The price point of the AT-LP120 USB is only $200. You can find them for $200 at various vendors across the United States, and for the price, for the money, you really can't get a better turntable, brand new, fresh out of the box. It's a very heavy turntable. The construction, it's made to look like a very familiar layout, that is the Technics 1200, so everything is going to feel and look very similar to that. You have a metal top plate construction along with an ABS molded style bottom. It's not rubberized like the Technics bottom. You have these feet that are a little bit thinner than the Technics feet, but they do a good job of leveling, and they are spring loaded as well. The unit weighs 23.5 pounds. I believe the Technics is about 24 pounds. So there's a lot of dampening material and a lot of other metal pieces and bits inside that are just put there for extra stability, and it's a very sturdy piece. Everything else is metal. All your buttons are metal. Your pitch slider is metal. Your complete Tonearm assembly is also metal, and you have an aluminum platter. We'll take off the cover. I'm going a little bit deeper for you. It comes with a cover. The Rca cables are on the bottom. They are permanently attached like the old SL 1200s. That is one of my gripes with the unit. I wish they would have been detachable. That way, when something goes wrong or anything ever happens to them, you can easily be able to replace them. It's a common point of failure. But on these units, they are built in just like the 1200. The power cable is a standard infinity shaped cable, like what you have on like your cable boxes. Plugs right in. We'll just run the unit down. In order to set it up, very easy, just plug your Rca cables into your mixer or directly into your speaker or your output, whatever you want to play it on. We'll go from top to bottom. We already spoke about the construction. There is a 45 adapter for your 45 records to play. That's metal. Coming down the side, you have your familiar motor on and off switch, just like what's on the Technics. Your start and stop button, they perform just like the Technics, and it's metal as well, feels just like the Technics. There's a 33 and a 45 selector, and when you press them both, the speed can go to 78. There's also a metal pop-up target light, very familiar to what's on the Technics once again. And we have a pitch selector indicator. This is an extra feature that's not found on the 1200s. Is a pitch selector for 10% or 20% range. This is a metal pitch slider. Everything is high quality here. There is a center click, if you can hear it, when you get right to the middle. A lot of people don't like that, but a lot of people do, depending on who you are. That center click is to signify when you're at absolute perfect speed for the track that's playing. There is a Quartz Lock button that you can engage, so whenever you are outside of that area and you want to go back to your absolute zero or your perfect speed, you just press the Quartz Lock button. Up here is another extra. There's a reverse and a forward direction platter rotation. And right now you got it playing in forward. When you want it to reverse, just press the R. Start stop button, just like on your Technics. Same speed of the stop. Also, we'll go over here to the Tonearm. You get with this setup an Audio-Technica needle. Not exactly sure what type. You'll want to replace that. We've been testing it with these along with the Stanton 680 V3, and we also tested these with the Shure M447s, and they all worked phenomenal. The sound quality of the Tonearm was good. We didn't have any feedback or any issues. We'll go to sound quality later, but right now we're on the build quality, and the Tonearm assembly and everything is metal. You have your height adjustment here as well, along with your anti-skate adjustment and your counterweight. Everything is metal. Everything is really nicely integrated. It looks just like the Technics, but it's a little bit lighter weight than the Technics setup, but again, it is all metal and it's definitely very acceptable. There's the red LED that you have down here, so you can see your dots as they move to indicate the speed or the pitch. Next up, we can just talk about the actual sound quality. So as you can see, the build quality is pretty much up to par. It's not exactly what you'd find on the Technics 1200, but for a $200 price range, I'm pretty surprised by the level of quality and finish on the unit as a whole. So moving to sound quality, the sound quality of the Audio-Technica, you know, everybody knows Audio-Technica has been in the sound quality business for a long time, so there's no reason for the turntables to not also live up to that same standard, and they do. They're a good sounding turntable. Throughout our tests, I didn't have any problems with hissing, pops, or any feedback, any hum or buzzes, and I had my speakers pretty close to the whole setup the whole time, and I didn't get any ill effects at all, even without having it in a coffin. So good performance, definitely acceptable for DJs. I'm not sure about for audiophile use. This is more for a DJ type of review, and this is definitely an acceptable sound quality for your turntables for DJ purposes. As a matter of fact, we had this alongside of a Stanton ST150 from my personal collection, and when we were adjusting the EQs, we had the same needles on each side and we didn't have any problems. The gains were set identically and it worked just the same. So good job on sound quality and on overall build quality as well. Next up, we're going to talk about when you're actually in performance, when you're using it. The pitch slider is very accurate, nice and crisp, very smooth and similar to what is found on the Technics 1200. So it's very easy to find your beat match and to adjust it quick on the fly to get exactly where you need to when you're mixing. When you're scratching, we were able to pull off mostly all of our scratches on this motor. This is what everybody really wants to know. How is the scratching performance? This is on absolute mode. It is a tractor scratch record, but if it skips, it's going to skip. And this is with the normal non-DJ head shell and cartridge that just came with the actual turntable. It's not like a performance DJ needle by any standards. So the performance of the motor is, you know, acceptable for DJ standards, and you, as long as you get that set up nice and balanced, the Tonearm, you won't have any issues with any needle. As you can see, we're using the cheap Audio-Technica needle that came with it. If you throw your 447 on there, you have no problems with skipping, and you can do everything you need to do. The motor performance is pretty good. It's supposed to be a stronger motor than what is found on the Technics, but in fact it's really not. The startup times are very similar, but as you can see when doing, I have a butter rug under there, by the way. That's one of the most slippery slip mats you can have. So, but as you can see, when I'm doing my advanced scribbles or scratches where my hand must stay on the platter for longer periods of time, you'll see the platter will slow down a lot more than it would on, let's say, a Technics 1200. See, if you can see the dots slowing down, they slow down quite a bit when my hand is on the platter for extended periods of time. The Technics has a little bit more power to go through that, but we can do everything we need to do here. We can back cue, we can cut, we can scratch, we can scribble, we can do everything we have to do, and it still holds up pretty well, especially for the $200 price tag. You're not going to find anything in that price range, I think, that holds up to this standard. Not brand new anyway. So that's basically it in a nutshell. You know, in conclusion, it's not an exact 1200 replica. It's not going to perform perfectly exactly like a 1200, but is it a viable substitute? I think so. If you only have, you know, $400 and you want to get yourself a set of decks, This is hard to find something comparable in this type of price range. You have a good motor, strong, not quite as strong as the Technics, but pretty close. You'll be able to do mostly all your scratches, all your juggling routines, perfect for mixing. And you have a nice accurate pitch slider, nice accurate Tonearm balance section, and everything just works as it's supposed to, and you have really high standards when it comes to build quality. You also have a built-in USB port on this device, so when you want to plug it into your computer to transfer your vinyl collection over to digital, comes with the USB cable, also comes with a software for you to capture the actual sound, and then you can put it into your software of your choice. And overall, it's just a good deck. No complaints, you know, just a couple gripes, and that was just the permanently attached RCA cables, and also the motor will slow down slightly under extreme scratching situations. Other than that, it's hard to find fault with, you know, a $200 set of tables. We're going to recommend these to anybody looking to pick up a set of turntables that don't want to spend an arm and a leg. Anyone who's missing a 1200 and maybe they need something that, you know, feels exactly the same way in terms of tactile feel and control ability, and they want to replace a turntable, but they don't want to spend an arm and a leg again in order to get a new technique. This will fit nicely alongside a Technique, and you won't be too far off base when you're switching back and forth between the two. So for more, you can check out our written review at www.djbooth.net/DJS. You can also follow me on Twitter for all your DJ equipment updates. That's at DJBlaze_DJBooth. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got a lot more reviews coming out. It's going to be a very busy year for us. So keep checking us out. Keep subscribing. Keep checking me on Twitter. And the username is RealDJBlaze. Thanks for watching.